Okay, so now it does say that we are live. Are you seeing that on your side as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am using StreamYard for the first time, so bear with me on technical stuff. You guys that have been following me, you already know I am not the best at techie stuff, but I found this new, actually I was referred this. Somebody was like, oh my gosh, you can do StreamYard. It's so great. So I'm trying it out for the first time. So I apologize if there's blunders. Okay, it looks like it's live on Facebook, so that's good. And I'm just going to check also my YouTube. I want to introduce Lana. While I'm doing this, maybe you could go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about you. And then I am so excited to get into the throwing away the negative thoughts, because that's one of my favorite things to work on as well. So thanks for being my guest today, and we'll get started. Tell us all about you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for popping into my world again after a while. I think it's been about a year since we were in touch, and all of a sudden, boom, synchronicities happen. My name is Lana McAra. I am a published author. I'm working on book number 36 at the moment. I'm a ghostwriter, editor, book coach, and I'm also a healer, a spiritual healer and spiritual advisor. And I do a lot of article writing about spiritual topics. And I have a Facebook group called Now It's My Turn for women over 50 who are wanting the world to know we're not done. We're just getting started. 50 is not the end of the road. It's just the middle of the road. So I love the women over there. So if you are a woman over 50, come on over to Now It's My Turn on Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel where I have a weekly show called Now It's My Turn for women over 50. So thanks so much, Jennifer. Is there anything else I can say?
I don't think so. I'm really excited. It sounds like things are coming through. I know there's some people that are on live. I'm hoping that it's coming through because it seems like a little bit catchy on your side. I don't know if it's yours or mine, but it looks like you're frozen a little bit, but I can still hear you.
Okay, I don't know, because
I'm not sure if you're
my TV show and everything. So this is my setup, my professional setup. We do have some people here. Natasha, Donna.
But
I'm looking at the comments.
That
I
just
don't know if
came
you can see
really
them.
garbled.
Johnny, are you not hearing me?
It's really, really garbled right now. And I'm live. Can you guys tell us if you're seeing it on your end? I'm not really sure. I'm going to look on my phone really quick and see if people can see.
Okay, they're saying they can hear us on video, and they're hearing us okay. Oh, we lost Jennifer. Okay, I'm just going to keep talking. Thanks so much for hanging in there while we get the technology worked out. We connected over an article, or a little bit that I wrote. It wasn't really an article, on judgmentalism on Facebook, and that's how Jennifer and I reconnected, because I wrote an article about how, in my experience as a someone who came up in a very religious background, there was a lot of judgmentalism, and I left that world because I was really tired of the negativity. But then when I got back into
Hello, sorry about that.
No worries, I'm just talking.
So just keep going. I'm so glad. I don't know what happened.
So when I got into the spiritual world, which is where I am now, because I am an intuitive healer, psychic, I channel, and all of that, I'm in this world and I love it. I love it. But I also found that sometimes people looked up to as authorities in the field, in this area, this realm, had the same negative, condemning, judgmental attitude as other people that came from my past. And it was shocking to me. And so what I realized at that point is that it doesn't really matter what your viewpoint is. Your attitude toward other people really tells your vibration. It's about connection, openness, receiving, allowing. not about right and wrong. That's a 3D view of the world. A 3D view is polarizing, where somebody's got to be right and somebody's got to be wrong. And when we get into the fifth dimension, we're more about the higher view and observing and opening to all viewpoints. Because in my channeling recently, because I was so troubled about this back and forth thing, and people that I respected and loved, coming out with this massive negativity, the guides actually said, we welcome different viewpoints because the world expands from different perspectives. So we might be coming at something from a different perspective from someone else, but that person has a truth. And although the whole body of what they think may not be, accurate, there is some truth in there that can help us expand. And we need 2 different or 3 different or 100 different perspectives in order for the world to advance. If everyone agreed with each other, we would just be, flatlining. Everybody's walking in lockstep with no freedom of thought. So instead of condemning each other and judging each other, how about if we just say, oh, that person has another perspective. What can I learn from that? And that took me into a whole different perspective of how the world works, because it isn't about this or that. It's about all of us having a right to our own thinking, bringing our own perspective to the world and our own contribution from that perspective. It's all valid if we could only see that and embrace that, because that is the path that we are on as we go into this more ascended, higher vibration in the world.
So I missed part of what you're saying, obviously, when I dropped off. But what I love is that what you're talking about right now is exactly what my guides, I just posted again on this a couple days ago, about can you be in non-judgment? Like, can you be in that space where you're not judging somebody else? And really, they're saying right now, it's a lot about it comes back to like self-responsibility. And I know this is like not the sexy fun part of the work that we all have to do, but it's so true. We have to be responsible for our own thoughts, our own beliefs, our own places that we're being rigid and we don't want to see change and we don't want to look at a different perspective. And it's interesting too. So the one thing that I love that we both teach on is the negative beliefs and negative thoughts. And I love that you have throw away negative thoughts in 7 minutes. So for those of you guys that are watching, if you want to go to her website, it is a free resource that she has. Is that right?
Yes.
On the website. And I love this because this is one of the things that my guides are talking about again. And this is, I know you and I both work on this, both from like really mentally, like, what are you thinking? And then also energetically, where can we remove limiting beliefs? Where can we remove things that don't serve anymore through spiritual work? And then how do we blend those together? Right. Yes. So it's all about the non-judgment thing, which is so interesting because I've also seen a lot of, spiritual teachers, and it's been interesting, some of the like emails and messages that I've gotten in the backside of things, like going, I can't believe this teacher just said that. And I'm like, well, okay, so if that's the case, and if that's what's coming up, what is it triggering in you? What are you thinking about it? And do you align with it anymore? Because that's the other thing too, is self-responsibility, is really fine-tuning what you're in alignment with and what you aren't. And again, not judging that person for it, but just saying, you know what? No, they're in a different place now and I don't align with that anymore. So I'm moving on. Yes. I've actually had to do the same thing in the last 6 months. Some of the people that I used to listen to on YouTube, I can't listen to anymore. Yeah. And it's trusting that inner guidance to know what's right for you and what isn't. And I think part of that begins understanding and having that discernment for ourselves begins with what we're thinking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. What we're thinking and the framework that we put our self into, our identity, the framework that we put the world into. And I have been so astounded at how much of our world is pretend. How much of
illusions.
It is an illusion. Just for an example, I was watching a documentary on one of the it wasn't Netflix. It was something else. It wasn't Gaia. It was something like Gaia. I forget. I have so many of them.
Yeah, me too.
On science, that there have been bones discovered in all over the world, thousands, over 1,000 complete bodies of people who were over 10 feet tall. And as these findings, these skeletons, these bones, and these are from articles that were in the New York Times, back around the turn of the century, 1900s. Public knowledge, it's all over the place. These different skeletons were collected by some organization. I'm not going to say who it was, because you can go watch it for yourself, and destroyed, taken out on ships and tossed into the ocean. Why? Is there something about having some people who are bigger than us that is not for public consumption? These people were dead. I mean, they didn't find people in the woods that were 12 feet tall. These are skeletons from the past. Then why is our reality so carefully constructed? Why are we not given full information? Why do we have to live in this little box that's been created for us? And, we see that in all different types of topics. I mean, you just can go right down the gamut, everything from food to health to electricity to power sources and transportation, and you name it. I mean, everything
in our reality
is just constructed, because we all know of people who have had inventions that would have taken us into a different place, and that person either disappeared or they were trashed in the media so nobody will believe them anymore, or something happened to stop it. How much of our world is real, and how much of it is something that we have been told, or information that has been, filtered for us? And so
it's so interesting. I love this. So again, we haven't spoken in over a year, probably, or right around a year. And it's interesting what you're saying, because one of the things that my guides have been saying is that this year it was like discernment and trickery, and something will be unearthed and unmasked. Like there will be something that comes, and it's going to like shake everybody. Like, how did we not ever know this before? So I love the way you're saying this, because it's all in plain sight, but we just don't know to look for it, because it's not on what you would typically watch on TV. It's not on the websites that you would normally just go to. And so we have to, I think it's really, I mean, it's all, there's so much going on, right? There's trickery, there's illusion, there's trying to hide the truth. And then there's also the people that are waking up going, wait a minute, why is this trying to be hidden? Why does this not need to be on me? Why can't I ask why?
Yes. Why can't I ask why? Right.
So that's my favorite thing right now is, why can't you ask why? Like, what's wrong with asking why? That's one of my favorite words. And I know that's why, 5-year-olds are so smart, because they're like, why? Well, why does it do that? Well, why? You can learn so much just by asking why. So I love that you're saying that. And the reason it's important is because if you're so stuck in believing this is the way it is, this is the way it's done, then your reality is going to be completely demolished.
Yes.
Moving forward, because I still feel like there's something yet to be revealed. And so I want to kind of turn it back again to throwing away the negative thoughts in 7 minutes. Can you kind of give us like a little brief overall of this? Because again, I love this. This is one of the things in my first book, Embodied Grace, A Woman's Path to Empowerment. One of the first things that was so empowering to me was why do I believe some of the things that I believe? And this is basic stuff, right? Like, why do I believe, I mean, there were so many why do I believe money doesn't grow on trees? Really, money's made out of trees. So technically, I mean, if you were open to discovering a new way of looking at the beliefs that you have, and it's been passed down generationally, and not on purpose. It's just that that's what they were also taught. And so it's been passed down for so long that we do things a certain way. And I think there's so many people now being awakened to spiritual truths that go beyond the why, right? Like you just feel it, you know it, and then you can start to bring it into your reality. And then you see that all of this woo-woo stuff that everybody talks about really does work. And you really can start manifesting and creating and all of that kind of stuff. But if your thoughts won't allow you to even be open to the possibility of that, you'll never be able to get there. So knowing what you know and how you feel that things are going to be coming, how can we put that throwing away our negative thoughts from your perspective? What would be some of the best steps that you can do?
One of the things is to come to an understanding that our thoughts are just thoughts. They're actually energy constructs. They're like little balls of energy. And they actually are outside the head. They're about in this area of around the head. They're not really in the brain, although there may be some, that it's coming up, but mostly your thoughts are an energetic field around your head. It's really strange, but if you put your hands right here above your head, you're going to feel heat. Now, in traditional thinking, without the woo-woo stuff, they just say, well, your body's giving off heat, and that's what it is.
Right.
But this is the interesting thing, and I'm going to do a little demo for you, if it's okay. But just to kind of set this up, if you are spiritually in tune, now not everybody can do this. So if what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you, then just bear with me, because this is something that I came to over my process of working in this area for about 4 years now. So I got really in tune with it. If you have a thought, let's say your thought is, everybody takes advantage of me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus in on this sector of the head, above your head in the air here, you can identify where that thought is. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll take my hand and I'll just feel around, where is that thought? And suddenly I'll find it. And when I find it, then I know I can get rid of it. It's right here. Because in this process that I'm going to show you, you'll learn how to find those places, pull them out, and throw them away. And so just that piece right there, because in NLP, mm-hmm. when you do neuro-linguistic programming, that's really what they're doing. They tell you to close your eyes, imagine where it is. Oh, it's over there. And then you do stuff with it, right? You manipulate it. And NLP has been around forever. 1950s, mm-hmm. I think, or 1940s is when they started doing that. So it's proven. It's not even a question. It's not woo-woo. It's brain science. That's all locked in. Mm-hmm. So in this process that I'm going to do right now, we're going to do like a simplified form of that. But I just want to throw it out there. There's a lot more here than most people realize. When you're doing this work, and I hesitate to call it woo-woo.
Right. I'm getting away from that now too.
Yes, it's more like it's just a scientific thing. It's a fact of how our bodies work that we may not have realized until now. They burn people at the stake in the past for using different herbs, and now you go down to the store and you pick it up off the shelf, right? Mm-hmm. Because they just knew something that we didn't know, or that people didn't know back then. So that's how I feel about this process, because it is brain science. So when you have a negative thought, let's say that you have that thought, everybody takes advantage of me. And I'm picking that up because about a couple of weeks ago, I had a really, really bad dream where that came up, and I thought, man, I thought I cleared that.
Worked through that already?
Evidently, there was something bigger down deeper in there, So we just keep bringing this stuff up, and it's wonderful to be able to get rid of it. So when you have a thought like that, there are 3 questions, and this goes into this is all in that little video. It takes 7 minutes. It's going to take me a little longer. Probably now because I'm explaining, but you can download that video to your phone. If you run into something, you push the video and watch it in 7 minutes, you can throw it away. So when you have a thought like that, you ask 3 questions. The first question is, how old was I when I first had this thought? Mm-hmm. because little children don't usually go around saying everybody takes advantage of me.
Right. Right.
They usually have a couple of things on their mind. First of all, this is mine. And second of all, I want what I want. So that is what age were you? And so when you give yourself space, take a breath, a number will come up. Your subconscious mind knows these things. You just have to let your subconscious tell you. And it's the first thought that comes into your head. Don't judge it. If you judge it, you're just going to
overanalyze it.
Overanalyze. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
is that really
whatever
true?
comes up.
Yeah. Don't do that. If the number 4 comes up, it's 4 years old. Were you inside or outside when it happened? And again, your mind will bring up inside or outside. Even if you don't know what the situation was, your mind will still know. Were you with people or alone? With people or alone. And when you have those 3 things, a lot of times a memory of some situation will pop up into your mind. If it doesn't, don't worry. We can still move forward without having that conscious memory. And so then the next question is, where did you store that in your body? Your body's like a refrigerator. Every time you have a big emotion, it'll go in. And this also applies to positive emotions. But a big emotion will stick in your body somewhere. And what I tell people is just let your hand find it, because your body knows where it is. Just let your hand go, wherever it may be. Put your hand on that spot. And now, what color is it? Now, you're not going to see a color. You're just going to have a color come into your mind, just like all the questions we've been asking. Oh, it's blue, it's yellow, it's red, whatever. Get the color. And now you're going to take your hand and you're going to pretend it's like cotton candy. It's got substance, just pretending. And so you just go to that place and you pull the energy out and you put it in your other hand. I'm trying to find my camera. You put it in your other hand. So you're just pulling out, let's say mine is blue, and you just pull out all the blue cotton candy. It's in strands. It takes a little bit to get it. What you're doing is you're pulling this thought form out of your body, because your subconscious mind believes there's a blue ball of energy in here.
And that's the key, is everything is energy.
Everything is energy. Mm-hmm. This could even be related to some pain you have in your body. It will help pain if the pain is related to this kind of energy. Okay, so you have a blue ball of energy in your hands right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it by the sides and you're going to stretch it into a big screen TV. Now, I am limited, but I want you to just stretch out as far as you need to stretch, big, this way and also this way. So now you have a rectangle of energy in front of you. Take your hand and make a black border, a frame around it. Encapsulate it. Now it looks like a TV with a black border around it. And when you stretched it, you could see it's a video. You can't see the video. It's just color, movement, but you can see it's a video. And so what you're going to do now, you've got this screen in front of you with this video running. You're going to take your hand on the bottom of the frame. There is a button that's going to blank out the screen. So you just turn the button in your imagination. Just turn it, and the screen's going to go white or black. It doesn't matter, but it's going to blank. You're just going to blank it. Sometimes you might have to turn it for a little while, but you'll get a feeling like, okay, now it's blank. Then you take the finger of your dominant hand. You're going to write in the screen any lessons you might have learned from this situation, because we always want to hold on to stuff. Like, I learned a lesson, I need to hold that. Well, you don't have to hold it, but you can keep the lesson. And what I love about this, when you're writing the lessons, you don't have to know what you're writing. Your subconscious mind is writing, and you just write. Let your subconscious mind do the writing. Just write until you have that feeling like, okay, I've got it now. And sometimes I get impatient. I write with all 5 fingers on my hand at one time. Subconscious mind can do that.
Wipe this out.
just write. And sometimes I get really like vehement, and I get this rush of emotion, like, yeah, I learned that. And just keep writing until eventually you feel like you got it out. This is the fun part. Now you take the sides of the screen and you shrink it down to the size of a DVD. Shrink it down to the size of a DVD. Now you're holding it in front of you. got this little DVD. Now put it up over your head. Take a deep breath. Now I want you to throw it against the back wall as hard as you can. Bam! Take your 2 nail guns and nail it to the wall. Bam, 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 bam. So it can't come back. Take a deep breath. Notice the change. Notice the change in your body. Notice the change in your mind. You feel lighter. This is an imagination game, but the results are real.
Mm-hmm.
And now just do a little test. Just test over there. Are there any left? Can I bring that back? What happens? And notice what happens instead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. If you got a pain in your knee, pull the pain out.
Pull it out.
Frame it, right? Pitch it, nail it.
I love this because there's so many different techniques. And this is something that I always tell my clients, like there's so many different ways to do all of the same kind of work, right? Like the whole idea is let's look at this negative thought. Let's take it out. Let's see, do you need anything from it? Like, cause that's what I'll say is, well, let's look at this thought. What does it mean? Why is it here? What do you need to learn from it? And then can you let it go? And so everybody does it in such different ways. And I love that you just, because that's a totally different way that I haven't ever heard anybody explain it before. I actually use NLP as well. Mm-hmm. And so I use it a little bit different depending on the situation and the client and what's going on and what they're trying to work through. But there's so many different things. So there's really like, I want to challenge everybody for this year of 2021. There's like no more excuses. Right? So like, what if you really could step into the life that you love? What if you really could manifest what you wanted? And what if all you have to do is get rid of a few negative beliefs that are holding you back? And then that's when you start finding your freedom. So I'm so excited about bringing different people in and talking about all these different things and having new and creative ways or different ways that maybe you haven't worked before, and not judging yourself, I think, is the biggest thing. Is don't judge whatever comes up. The second thing is don't overanalyze and don't talk yourself into thinking that you're crazy, because that's going to happen. As soon as you start doing this, you'll be like, oh, I want to get rid of this limiting belief. And they'll be like, oh, that's crazy for you to think that you can do that, right? Like that'll be something that'll come into your system. Well, that's another limiting belief. Why is it crazy? Why can I not do this? Mm-hmm. And so it's being in that space of non-judgment. And then the other thing that I think I see a lot is like people that when they start doing this work, and I know I've been guilty of it. Why did I let myself, then I start beating myself up over why I let myself stay that way for so long, right? Well, you don't know what you don't know. So whenever you come across something new like this, it's another opportunity, another step on the ladder, whatever you want to call it, to really start refining the energy within you. Because every time we do that, it allows more light and more love. So like when you get rid of a negative thought like that, that actually allows you to bring more love into your body. And the more we do that, that's that spiritual evolution of awakening. I feel it's the refinement.
Yes, exactly. The reason I latch onto this particular process, is you don't have to experience the negative emotion that you're mm-hmm. throwing away. You mm-hmm. can do it without feeling bad. Yeah. Because I had so much pain in my past. I mean, I'm allergic to pain. I don't want to feel it anymore.
Right.
I've had enough, not that I don't have, pain sometimes, but yet, if you can do it in a way that isn't painful, why mm-hmm. not?
Yeah. And there's no reason to relive the energy of that. Like I know, back in the day, that was one of the things that, one of the ways that they would teach is like, you have to go through the dark night of the soul, which we all do in some aspect, but there's no reason to go into the misery again. Yeah. If you can look at it from that, again, it's that higher vantage point, right? Like step back and look at it from a different perspective. Yes. And then just work through it,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things that I don't know why this is coming up right now. One of the things that I like to look at whenever I'm doing that is this a program, a pattern, or a paradigm? Like, is this thought something that is programmed, meaning this is something that's been passed down? Everybody in my family believes this. Is it just a pattern? Like at some point you believed it and then you started just believing it over and over again. It's just a pattern. Or is it really like a paradigm that you've been stuck in? And again, that could also be generational, but is it just a paradigm that you're in that, now you can go to the next, like you can go to the next paradigm, like up level again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so fun. And like you said, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but there was something about going in and you're like, God, I already thought I did this. The dang onion layers, you guys. Like, that's the other thing, is don't think you're doing something wrong if you keep finding another level of it, because those of us that are doing the work and teach the work and are practitioners and all of that stuff, we're still doing the work. Like, you still have to continue to do that work. And if you say nothing's showing up, then you're probably either not looking hard enough, or you're in denial of what's really going on, because I feel like that's part of the whole process of being human.
Absolutely. It really is. And I think the guides, some time ago, the guides said to me so clearly, the biggest thing holding us all back, humans,
Mm-hmm.
back, is self-judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I should have been better. I should have known better. I should have done better. And on and on and on. And the key to a higher vibration is it's not summoning up more energy to lift
It's not
ourselves.
perfection.
It's just relaxing.
Yeah.
Relax, chill, let yourself be human. I mean, this is our journey right now, and there's no reason to be down on yourself. And I mean, I'm the queen of that. So I can tell you from experience, when I was able to let that go, oh my goodness, it was so freeing, lifting, and my life opened up and the opportunities started coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me reaching for something that always seemed out of reach. The higher vibration levels are actually easier.
It's so much easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that. And I really do agree with you. It's like that perfection thing, or having to do it right, or
Yes.
a lot of what I've noticed here lately, and I don't know if this is something that you're experiencing as well, but a lot of the like getting down to the core base, like, this is there was one thing I could say that would help everybody, is there's this messed up idea of we're not worthy of whatever it is that we want, right?
Yeah.
That it's that unworthiness. And my guides have been like, really, this is a message that I've been all through all of last year and a little bit before that, is I know who you are in divine truth. You have a God spark within you, and all you've got to do is understand that you're already worthy. And then we get these thoughts that say that we're not. So again, it's that coming back to the negative thinking again. But we're right at about half an hour. So give us a little wrap up, and then, because I like to keep these short, because otherwise it could just keep going on forever.
Sure.
So,
Well, I invite everyone to go over and pick up that video. LanaMcAra.com, LanaMcAra.com. And just thank you so much for today. Thank you, Jennifer.
yeah, thanks so much for coming on, you guys. I really was so excited when I got a hold of Lana to come on here, because one of the things that I will be teaching on, and that I know Lana is too, go to her website, get the video, because any of the tools that work are great to have. Don't judge yourself for what comes up. Don't judge yourself of doing it wrong. Just, even if you're trying, then you're doing a good job. So, and I know that the negative thinking is one of the things that my guides are really talking to me again about this year. And this is a year, so 2021, if you add that up, it's a 5, and 5 is always about transformation. So this is if we use the energy in our favor, this is a huge year for transformation. And I really do, in my heart, I can just feel there's going to be so many people that finally step into their divine calling, and they finally start waking up to some of the thoughts that are holding them back. And there are so many different ways to do the work to get you through those thoughts. So sending you guys lots of love. And get in touch with both of us. I have all of Lana's information also in this I don't even know what you call it. It's not a podcast anymore because we're on live video, but so all of the information is here with this beautiful video that we just did. And I'll see you guys soon, and thanks again for joining us. Thanks, Lana, for being my guest today. Bye, guys.